gators out here in Cali, bro.
There's definitely no gators.
And that widescreen is kind of dope.
The widescreen is dope, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, we live on Periscope?
We're live.
Oh, hey, Periscope, how you doing?
What's happening?
What's happening? We're live stream.
Oh,
Live stream.
You got a fresh line in. I mean, you got the freshest line in the building, so.
I ain't got no line
Oh,
no
man.
more.
Oh,
No
yes.
line in.
Ski ball Eddie. Ski.
We are here. Bonta, I know it's not that necessary, but give me a countdown versus podcast going down here this Wednesday. What's today? August 3rd.
It's one of them days.
Yeah, one of them days. August 5th.
So the Giants beat the Braves today.
The Giants did beat the Braves, so that
We
did
won the
happen.
series, baby.
You did finally win a series.
Man.
Bonta, give me a 5-second countdown.
All right, hold on. Let me repost this on Periscope
so
real
then
quick.
just keep this the same seat up here.
Yeah. And then, like, if you can't see the camera, then they can't see you. So,
Can you see me, Periscope? Please let me know.
yeah.
Hold on 1 second here.
By the way, this is the worst but greatest Gators fan I know. Y'all make sure y'all follow him at Slim Joe Magic as we do this versus podcast, doing great things.
No gators.
And I think the other thing too is because the camera is a little far away. I think we got to make sure we speak up just a little bit. But other than that, we should be.
Oh, we look straight. I'm looking at it on my laptop.
Yeah, we look good.
We look pretty damn good.
We look pretty
so scoot over just a little.
Yeah,
Where you at?
Yeah, we look pretty damn handsome. I'm not gonna lie to you. With my bald head out here.
Yeah.
And of course we're ignorant, so we got the echo
Yeah,
going.
there you go, Joe. Look at Joe. Look at Eddie with the bald head. This is great.
All right.
I don't know why I just got so
Hey,
excited about
In a
this.
few years and I'll
Hey,
be
can-
with you, bro.
Can we start the show?
Yeah, hold on. Let me do this.
I'm trying to get him to start the show, I promise. But you know.
Y'all can wait. Periscope. If y'all tuned in right now, y'all can wait.
Man, you
Sorry.
rude. You rude.
I love y'all.
You
I love
rude.
y'all.
You rude, bro.
Please don't not watch us
Unfollow
right
him?
now. You can probably unfollow me. It's probably good for your sanity, but here we go. All right, we're ready to rock.
All right.
5, 4, 3, 2, and I just totally periscoped on somebody's comment section.
And you also messed up the countdown.
I did mess up the countdown, so we're gonna wait. Let's count it down back over.
Okay.
Worst producer in the world.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
me. Sorry to on the Facebook person, Rick Lewis. Sorry for posting some very stupid stuff. All right.
This is unbelievable. This by far is the worst pre-start of the show we've ever done.
It's actually great. I bet you people are enjoying it. All right, let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another primetime edition of the Versus Podcast. I'm your host, Eddie Maisonet, a.k.a. Ed the Sports Fan, broadcasting live from the CanBR studios here in San Francisco, California. Yay! Periscope, what is happening? It is Wednesday, August 5th. We're turned. I think, are the kids still saying turn? Are they saying turn?
It stands
Lit.
no, they're
It's
saying
lit.
lit.
It's lit. Okay, it's lit in here right
It went
now.
from popping to cracking to turn to
slapping. Yeah,
slapping.
yeah. Crunk. Do they
Crunk.
say? Do the kids say crunk?
I don't think the kids say
They don't say crunk anymore.
They don't say crunk
Okay,
anymore.
clearly I'm the old man. I don't have any hair anymore. It's getting really bad. Let's do this. Let's get these introductions out the way real quick. I will introduce my man. If you notice, if you're watching live on Periscope, you might notice that we have a slightly different alignment. Usually, you would see our intern. Let's give a shout out to the intern first. Logan Murdoch, the man that's matriculated. He has taken his talents to Minneapolis, Minnesota, the home of Prince, the home of 10,000 Lakes, the home of Kevin Maurice Garnett, to go uplift and edify himself at the National Association of Black Journalists Conference, the 40th anniversary of NABJ. Bonta and I are definitely a bit sad that we cannot be there, but we're going to give a salute from the Bay Area to Minneapolis. We're going to hold it down as best as possible. And Logan Murdoch, if you are listening to this podcast, if you are watching this Periscope, you only have one job. Don't embarrass us. That's it. Don't embarrass us. Don't make us look bad. And also go up there and further your career, because I won't tell you this in person, but you are an aspiring young journalist, and I'm pushing for you to succeed. And we're all hoping you succeed. So that's the nicest thing I'll say about you for the rest of 2015.
Don't think we miss you, Logan.
No,
we don't
definitely
miss you.
don't.
We are still taking applications.
We don't miss your tight sweatpants. We don't miss you wearing
joggers.
Yeah, joggers, whatever those things are. Not that joggers are wrong. I actually thought about getting a pair of joggers. I just tried to get some joggers in my size. It's a novel concept to get joggers in your
Eddie,
size.
You shouldn't have done that.
What do you mean?
You shouldn't have done that.
Look,
you shouldn't have said that, man.
Why?
I mean,
I'm a forward-thinking person. You know,
is joggers the new thing?
I mean, joggers that
you trying
fit.
to be trendy?
Joggers are functional.
Oh man.
Let's do this. See, we have derailed. We have already went tangentially in a slightly different direction, and I want to make sure I try to bring it back. So I'm going to introduce the man to my far left. The man is wearing a San Francisco Giants hat today. All hail the San Francisco Giants, beating the Atlanta Braves in the series. I know that makes Bonta Hill really happy. And I just introduced him, Bonta Hill, at Bonta Hill on Twitter. How you doing this evening, my brother?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. Look, man, like I just finished some vitamin water. That says if X marks the spot, 3 of them have got to be a good thing, and I'm all about that triple X rated life. I just said too much. Let me introduce the man to my near left. We have a visitor. We like to bring in visitors into the podcast every once in a while. He is my frat brother, which means he's definitely a terrible human being. He's a Florida Gators alum and fan,
that's terrible.
Which means he's an even greater human being.
Man.
But despite all that, he's a great guy, and he came in. He wanted to talk some sports with us, so we wanted to make sure we give him a chance to hop in. Joe Akoni, how you doing this evening, my brother?
I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah,
glad to be here.
Look at him. See, look, we had who do we have come in last week? Was it Terrence and Logan? They come in here all meek on the mic and Meek, you know. No, you came in strong.
Yeah, man, that's what you got to do.
I'm not gonna say Terrence.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say Terrence came on baby lotion soft.
Oh,
but he was a little.
I mean,
too
I feel
cool
like you just called him
with
baby
the
lotion.
pocket square.
I mean,
he came out with the pocket square in the studio. That was just like, man,
Terrence McClaney. Just for the record, Bonta Hill said you
I did not say you're baby lotion soft. You're not baby lotion soft. You were a little too cool. Late night tip for real, man.
Look, just because Terrence McClaney only leaves the house with pocket squares, rose petals on his lapel, he wears 7-piece suits. You know, like, hey, I ain't mad at him for that.
Did you rock the Hawaiian Silky?
I mean, yes, probably. You know, but that's okay. We're not here to slander Terrence McClaney right now.
He's our homie.
Yeah, he's the homie. No matter how much we talk bad about him. And this is what we're gonna do. Let's get some particulars out the way real quick. Be sure to follow the Versus Podcast on iTunes. You can follow us there. Type in the Versus Podcast and we'll pop up. Be sure to subscribe, give us a review, and give us your feedback on how we're doing. We've been steadily getting more subscriptions. We definitely appreciate the support. If you're an Android user, you can use Stitcher Radio. You can use Audio Boom as well, who are also supporters of our show. And you can also find our show as well at canbr.com and thesportsfanjournal.com as well. Shout out to the USF Sport Management Program. Shout out to Lou's Sandwiches. I need the sandwiches from Lou's in the near future because I am starving and this Subway ain't going to cut it. So I'm going to Lou's tomorrow to grub. I'm definitely doing that. Am I forgetting anybody, Bonta?
We are not forgetting anybody.
Praise God. I've done my job, and we can move forward accordingly. Niners fans, how y'all feeling right now? I know how you feeling. You're feeling despondent. You're feeling angsty. Yeah, angsty. Yeah, that's how you feel. Angsty. You're feeling like you've been attacked a little bit. Bonta Hill, a certain all-time great. Let me ask you a quick question. Is Frank Gore the greatest running back in 49ers history?
Ooh, that's tough.
Who's in the running?
Roger Craig, I think, is number one.
Ricky?
No, Ricky Waters is definitely not.
Ricky Waters probably didn't have the tenure.
No, he didn't have the tenure. And the way he went out, it was, no, okay. Roger Craig, Frank Gore. I would even put Garrison Hurst slightly above Ricky Waters.
I would probably say that I would say that Frank Gore is the best running back to ever be a member of the San Francisco 49ers. I would say that Roger Craig might be a better football player.
Mm.
I feel the things that they asked Roger Craig to do aren't the type of things they could ever ask Frank Gore to do. It's not that Frank Gore didn't have hands. It's not that he wasn't durable, but they would ask Roger Craig to do literally anything.
Yeah, well, he did anything.
Yeah.
I mean, the first running back to go 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards rushing.
Yeah.
He was a bruiser. I mean, as the game went along, he got stronger. People forget, Roger Craig may be the most underrated running back in the history of the NFL. You know, he was a key cog for those Niners Super Bowl teams. Frank Gore, he's probably my favorite 49er of all time.
Right.
Growing up with him, you know, by the time Frank Gore came along, I understood the game of football from a business perspective and on the field. And Frank Gore, I mean, damn, man, he played on so many bad teams and balled out.
See, first off, internet and Periscope and podcast listeners, I apologize. See, what I didn't realize is I inadvertently gave Bonta a window, a sliver of opportunity to go full fanboy and tell us the greatness of Frank Gore. And I don't blame you. That was my fault. I did that.
Oh, what's the internet said?
Well, I'm just saying, like, I put it out there. You know, I was trying to make a small point, and then you went on a brief soliloquy, and you went for like 3.5 minutes about the legacy and historical greatness of Frank Gore. And I'm not mad at you.
Hey.
However, the reason why I want to talk about Frank Gore is because, hey man, what is it that happened? I think if we had Funk Flex DJing, you know, there'd be some buckshots going off in the background, the Caribbean horns. You know, I think they would say what? Shots fired?
Shots were fired. Shots were fired.
Okay. If you are unaware, and most Niners fans are unaware, but for the general public, the general population, if you're not aware, Frank Gore was recently interviewed by a local Indianapolis reporter about what's it like being in the huddle with Andrew Luck. And Frank Gore came out and said something I think everybody would agree with. I've never been led in the huddle like I have with this quarterback, that quarterback being Andrew Luck. I've never seen things operate this way, with all due respect to anybody I played with in San Francisco. But things are different here in Indianapolis, and it's blowing my mind. That's the gist. I've summarized what Frank Gore said. Bonta Hill, I asked you for a quick bit of research before we got on this show. Can you list all of the quarterbacks that Frank Gore has played with in his entire tenure with the San Francisco 49ers?
Now, this list is incredible.
Yes,
we have Alex
I'm going to
Smith.
kick my feet up
Right.
and listen.
This list is incredible. Alex Smith, of course.
Alex
The
Smith.
check down God.
Check down.
Got Captain Check Down.
Yeah.
Tim Rattay.
Tim Rattay.
La Tech Stand Up.
Louisiana Tech one time.
Ken Dorsey from Miramonte High School out here in Dorinda. Throw up to you. Well, I won't throw up to you. I can't believe you're throwing up to you.
What is that?
Joe, what are you doing?
Joe, what are you
Crossing
doing?
it.
All right.
You crossed it?
Okay, yeah. I chop all day.
All right.
So we got Ken Dorsey, right?
Okay.
We got the Cowboy from the University of Washington, Cody Pickett.
Cody Pickett.
Played with him
All
for
right.
2 games.
Okay.
All right. Then we got Alex Smith for a full 16-game schedule in 2006.
Okay.
Mind you, North Turner was the offensive coordinator. Frank Gore ran for 16.95, his
Right.
career high.
Did you say-
It was
well,
amazing.
16 what?
Yeah.
How'd you say?
16.95.
95? Okay,
There you
all
go.
right. There's a sale going on.
All
All
right,
right.
there we go. All right, so then in 2007, Alex Smith, Trent Dilfer.
Trini boy.
Trinity Boy
Yeah.
Dilfer. My cousin, Sean Hill.
Joe cousin. Okay.
And my boy from Florida State, probably the oldest Heisman Trophy winner of all time, Chris Winkie.
Okay.
All right, so we move along to 2008, Sean Hill, JT O'Sullivan.
JT
You guys
O'Sullivan.
don't know who JT
Wasn't
O'Sullivan
he
is.
in NC?
I think
He
was.
might have been an
I think
NC.
He was a backup singer.
I mean, I believe he went to UC Davis. Internet helped me out there. But I was actually, you know what was funny? I went to a preseason game with JT O'Sullivan. He was starting. He was playing against Green Bay, and he lit him up in the preseason. And I was sold. I drank the Kool-Aid. I was like, this is our dude. We got to go with him. Yeah, that didn't work out too well.
Right.
So then we move along to 2009, Alex Smith, Sean Hill. 2010, Mike Singletary's last season, Alex Smith, and Troy Smith.
Troy Smith.
Troy Smith, who I believe is playing in Canada now.
Oh boy.
So yeah, he played with Alex Smith again, and then Colin Kaepernick.
Now, if you hear that long laundry list of names, you quickly realize something that I didn't really need to tell you, but I'm going to reiterate. Those quarterbacks ain't worth shit.
Except for Colin Kaepernick.
Those quarterbacks ain't worth shit.
Except for Colin Kaepernick.
Okay.
I'm not gonna let him do that,
Fine.
man.
Let me ask
He
you.
has a
no,
Seahawk hat on. I know,
That's okay.
folks.
I'll ask you one simple question. Is he one of the 15 best quarterbacks in the league?
Yes.
He's better than Cam Newton?
No.
Is he better than Matthew Stafford?
No.
He's won more big games than Matthew Stafford. I give him that. Caps won. Hey, with the bright. Hey, he's outdueled Drew Brees.
Is he
Tom
better
Brady.
than Andy Dalton?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, yeah, Andy Dalton.
Absolutely.
Is Andy Dalton trash?
He's
Man,
bad.
AJ Green is
bad?
about to-
Andy Dalton is bad. It's
Okay.
funny. My brother hates Andy Dalton. He got him negative points for one time in our fantasy.
Oh, so you guys
So
are thinking
we're
with your
hating him because of
fantasy.
fantasy.
You're hating
I'm
him.
hating him because of real
but,
life.
but how does it, and these are points per completion. How do you get
We
negative
just talked
points?
fantasy
He got negative points.
So
Are we going advanced analytics right now?
You're losing me for it. You're losing me.
Hilarious.
Hey, look. Hey, Andy Dalton. Actually wanted the Niners to draft Andy Dalton, and
Okay.
they passed him up and took Kaepernick.
Okay.
And I am blessed and happy that
Yeah.
that move didn't go
I
down.
bet you
So,
are. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so look, Colin Kaepernick might be in the top half, but if he is, he's probably about 14 or 15.
Right, yeah.
Okay?
No doubt.
And it's safe to say that what Frank Gore has with Andrew Luck right now is greater than anything he's ever had in his whole life.
Absolutely.
When Frank Gore was at Miami, look, he had two samplings.
Right?
No, he had two samplings of
Kid
Dorsey.
Yeah.
And
he had Brock Berlin.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that was. I mean, I didn't have any gray hair in my beard when Brock Berlin was the quarterback, right? So my whole point is that none of this should be a surprise.
No.
I think the bigger question is, and Bonta, nobody could answer this better than you. Did Niners fans get in their feelings a little bit?
They did. They absolutely did. Like, oh, what Frank he's really gonna say that? He just spoke the truth.
Right. And
Niner fans should know that Frank Gore speaks the truth. Sometimes he spoke the truth to a fault. It's like, Frank, you don't need to be saying that.
Right.
You know, where's the PR guy to help him out with his interviews?
I don't think the Colts PR guy cares anything
No,
about the Niners
I
anymore.
think they do. And you know what? I love me some Frankie G because he put blood, sweat, and tears. This take something from Floyd Mayweather. Blood, sweat, and tears on that field, man. Frank Gore balled out, man. He gave everything he had for that organization, for the 49ers organization. So I have no problems with him speaking his mind. And he's right. Andrew Luck commands a huddle. Andrew Luck is that dude. So, hey, there's nothing to get butthurt about here. Nothing at all. If Niner fans are getting butthurt, get butthurt about the Levi's Field. Get butthurt about the potential 8-8, 7-9, 6-10 season that is on the horizon for the 49ers. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But yeah, Frankie G. Long live Frankie G.
Slim Joe Magic, aka Joe Akoni. Do you have any thoughts about the Frank Gore Niners shenanigans?
I mean, his comments are correct. I mean, Kaepernick, but also Kaepernick is young. I mean, he's only been a starter for what? This is his third season as a starter.
Third full season. Though.
So I mean, when you think of a lot of the great quarterbacks, they weren't that good starting out. You know, it took them a few years. So maybe when Kaepernick hears this, may get more motivation to take a little more command in the huddle. Even just watching as a fan, you definitely see there's some. He's a little timid in the huddle. It doesn't really seem like he fully commands the team. So, you know, maybe this might give him a little motivation to get better.
And here's the thing about Colin Kaepernick, right? He's young. He doesn't have the quarterback whisperer anymore in Jim Harbaugh. But this team lives and dies with Captain Kaepernick, if you will. I actually think this might be the make or break season for Colin Kaepernick. Not that I think his career is in peril or anything, but he's going to start running out of excuses. Yeah. And we've seen that Colin Kaepernick, like, you could actually make the case that there aren't many quarterbacks in the league that has a higher level of variance. Hopefully I don't lose a lot of people with that word, variance. And what I mean by variance is that if he plays his best game, I actually think if Colin Kaepernick plays his best game, I don't think any team he plays on loses.
Yeah,
right. He's that good. Like, if Colin Kaepernick is making the right reads, if he's making, I mean, you can say that about a lot of quarterbacks, but I mean, I feel like with Kaepernick, there's more diversity in his game that he can beat you with his feet, and he can beat you with his arm, and he can beat you by just being a decoy. And those things are really imperative when you're putting together an offense. Now, will the Niners, the biggest concern I think the Niners have now is, do they have enough tools in the toolbox to really make that work? They've got young backs. They've got they've got one thing that they really desperately wanted Randy Moss to be at age 38. They've got a deep threat. Yep. They've got a deep threat. And past deep threat, they've got some possession guys. They still got 94-year-old Anquan Bolden.
Look, they got Reggie Bush. I think Reggie Bush has a little bit of juice.
They've got Bush.
Carlos Hyde is a young hyena who can truck some people. Yeah. Look, but the contract. This is the thing with Kaepernick that's really make or break. The way his contract was structured, the 49ers can cut ties with him at any point.
Right.
So if he really flames out, or bottoms out, I should say, they could just say, hey, bye-bye, we're going a new direction.
Well, and here's the other thing, too, about that, and this is the thing that we talked about a little bit before about the 49ers previously, is, man, I am very fascinated to see psychologically where does this team go from here. Because, look, man, we make fun of and talk about millennials all the time, positively and negatively, but every veteran presence on that roster, I'm not going to say every, but a large majority of them are gone. And they're not just Justin Smith on the defensive line. They're not just Patrick Willis at linebacker. It's Anthony Davis. Ayupati's gone, right? You know, Frank Gore is gone. Like Crabtree's gone. Like they're almost losing veteran, talented players at every single part of the squad. Outside of secondary, because they don't have anybody to play secondary. Sorry, no offense. Y'all got safeties. Y'all got some safeties.
Corners, I'm lost with cornerback too. And they didn't draft a single cornerback, which really confused the hell out of me.
So I think the interesting thing, the reason why I say those things is that if whatever makes up what Colin Kaepernick is, it's gonna come out now more than ever because they don't have any way to hide that. Right. And that could be a good thing. I think. It was interesting to see. I like to compare him to like somebody like Cam Newton, where Cam Newton actually every single year he's had less and less to play with, and he's actually proven himself to get a little better and a little better each year. And before we kind of questioned Cam Newton, I unquestionably believe in Cam Newton now. And if they ever put some actual freaking talent on that roster beside Kelvin Benjamin, man, Carolina's gonna be interested.
It could be interesting,
you know.
Definitely.
And you see somebody like Robert Griffin III, where he hasn't been able to adjust to a new coach and a switch in talent. And I think this is the first time where Kaepernick's gonna have real adversity because he always had a defense to lean on, and he always had a running game to lean on, and both of those things are in flux right now. And now Kaepernick's gonna have to figure something out.
You talk about the culture and all the veterans leaving. The reports coming out of training camp, after a few days, is that players are extremely happy. Okay. And I don't know if that's a good thing
that's a real
or
thing.
A bad thing because, they were happy with Singletary at times.
Right.
And we saw how that worked out. They were happy with Mike Nolan, believe it or not. We saw how that worked out. Harbaugh was hard on him, got the most out of him, and he really grinded them, and they were on the brink of some Super Bowls. I don't know if being really happy about the coaches and whatnot is a good thing or not. But the players are like, look, the environment's good. We're happy. Remember, last season was just from the Harbaugh rumors to Cat getting hit so much, to Crabtree complaining about things. It was just a nightmare. The whole Levi's Stadium thing with the new turf and getting down there and the lack of home field advantage. It was just a nightmare for everybody involved with the San Francisco 49ers. So, Tom Sula is a player's coach. Tom Sula, if you look at his defensive line units, year after year after year, they're generally one of the best at stopping the run. So these guys are gonna play for him. I just don't know if schematically they're gonna be good because you got Eric Mangini on the staff. You have a guy named Jeet Christ who's calling the plays, and the last time he was an offensive coordinator, Ryan Leaf was his quarterback in San Diego, and I believe they were 1-15 that season. So that's where it gets interesting. But you know what? We'll see. The players are happy. They're good. And to me, a happy player is a better player.
There it is.
So
there it is. Well, I want to. And there's something you called out, and I want to transition on that. And you talked about being a player's coach, and somebody that's not necessarily being viewed as a player's coach right now is your boy in Philadelphia. As you all may know, the media has reported from very different perspectives, from Deshaun Jackson to Brandon Boykin. I could keep going down the list. Jeremy Maclin, got LaShawn McCoy, where there's some animosity between some of the well-respected veteran stars formerly on that Philadelphia Eagles roster and one Chip Ezekiel Kelly. I don't really know if Ezekiel's his middle name, but I feel like it should be. And the question has been not necessarily there has been this perception of racism in regards to what's happening with Chip Kelly dealing with these players. And of course, these idiots that they're so quick to cape up for Chip Kelly. They say, "Oh well, they got DeMarco Murray, he's black." Like that's I don't think you really have an understanding of how racism works, right? And like they're replacing these players, and then there's that secondary paradox of, hey man, why do you think Riley Cooper is like the second coming of Michael Irvin? Like, why is he on the roster, right? Like, not that Riley Cooper is bad, but if you found a way to get rid of so many players on your roster, and yet you keep keeping on with Riley Cooper, that looks a little weird too, right? And so there's something that's been said about someone being able to relate to that type of player who's what's the best way to say it? That is a little headstrong, someone who's a bit more accomplished, someone that basically isn't going to sit here and let you talk to him any other kind of way, right? And why would we think that Chip Kelly could deal with something like that? Why would any coach be able to? There's a lot of coaches that don't have the ability to handle that type of person. Just anyone that's headstrong, really almost arrogant, confident. And I'm not necessarily saying that those players were all of those things, but clearly it became an issue because you got to start asking questions like, hey, man, you're trading a lot of our really good players, and we're not necessarily getting better.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Okay, I can hear your argument. LaShawn McCoy, you got DeMarco Murray. Okay, cool. Here's the thing. You paying all that money for what DeMarco Murray did in Dallas. You got to pay now for what you hope he can still do coming off when the man ran for 440 some odd carries in Dallas, and now you're hoping to be able to plug him into your roster. You start talking about Deshaun Jackson, that team got worse when Deshaun Jackson left.
Yep.
Now you got Jeremy Maclin out of there, and you didn't really replace him either, right?
And they just traded Brennan Boykin.
And they traded Boykin, and yes, Boykin's a corner cover. He's a slot corner, but I can't name any of the cornerbacks on the Philadelphia. I'm sorry, they signed Byron Maxwell. Yeah. And I think he came from
they got Walter Thurman III, but Byron Maxwell has never been on the island, and he's going to a division where they have Victor Cruz, Odell Beckham Jr., Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garçon, and that guy in Dallas named Dez Bryant.
I mean.
I'm just saying,
that was impressive. I feel like you was hanging on to that one for a while.
No.
You just gave the whole depth chart of wide receivers.
Not on this computer screen either.
Yeah, not on the computer. That was
that's what I'm here for. I'm here for that. Hey, people, I'm a nerd with this stuff. But you're right, Eddie. Like, his ego's getting in the way of this stuff, but I'll let you continue.
Well, there's something interesting about that, and some people want to call it ego, and some people want to call it just believing in Chip, right? Here's the thing. Chip Kelly, if you know the history of Chip Kelly, he's only had 3 stops as far as coming up. He didn't come up like a lot of coaches. If you look at Jim Harbaugh's a good example. Jim Harbaugh played in the league for 12 to 15 years at quarterback. He then went and he was serving as an assistant coach for various NFL teams. Then he went and paid his dues at the University of San Diego. Then he went and paid his dues at Stanford, ran a pro-style offense at Stanford. Then did a lot of time as the San Francisco 49ers head coach. Now, you could make the case that some of his players got burnt out on him, but Jim Harbaugh was also proven to have a lot of success as a head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. Bruh, do you know where Chip Kelly's first head coaching job was?
Was it Maine or New Hampshire?
It was the University of New Hampshire.
Yeah, there you go.
And let me tell you something right now. He wasn't recruiting a lot of players that looked like Jeremy Maclin, LaShawn McCoy, Brandon Boykin, and anybody else that I forgot the name, Deshaun Jackson. And then when he went to Oregon, the thing about being at a high-profile college program is that, yes, you can pick and choose what you want to recruit and the type of players you want to have on your roster because the talent pool is so wide. When you get in the NFL, bro, you just gotta hope you get talent.
Yeah.
And then you can't worry about the type of players hoping that you like them after the fact. Let's think about it this way. Chip Kelly is single.
Yeah.
He has no kids. One of the things that I thought Bill Belichick had to deal with, and this was something I read up on earlier. But Bill Belichick clearly, when he got to the job with the Cleveland Browns, everybody knew that he was gifted. Everybody knew that he was smart and he knew what he was doing. But he needed to learn how to relate to players, and a lot of players at that time gave him feedback that he couldn't. Yeah. He didn't know how to get in their heads and really get to motivate and get to know them. Now that was back in 1995.
He got Bernie Kosar up out of there.
Yeah, he got Bernie Kosar up there.
The Cleveland God.
And then what happened? Bill Belichick started having kids. And Bill Belichick started having kids that all of a sudden aren't that far different in age from the players that are now on his roster. I bet you Bill Belichick knows what all fleet means. Mm-hmm. I bet he does. Yeah. I bet he does it for no reason that he has a kid that's about the same age as those rookies that are coming into his team right now. And now Bill Belichick can not only be so arrogant as to say, I'm going to get Randy Moss for a 4th-round draft pick, but now I'm going to beat you with Edelman and Amendola and Welker. And he just said, I'm going to go all the way. You want Riley Cooper, I'm going to get all the Riley Cooper, bro. And so, and Belichick has at least proven that he can do it. And
Chip
I think
Kelly
and yes, Chip Kelly has not, and it's not like Chip Kelly's supposed to be an offensive guru. It's one thing when you talking about the offensive side of the ball, bro. Now you start talking about defensive players. And we all know, man, defensive players are not easy to get.
Mm-hmm.
We just saw the Washington R's, because I don't believe in calling them by their full name. That team in Washington, they sold to get a pass rusher.
Yeah.
Why? Because outside of quarterback, the hardest position to get in the NFL is someone who can get to the quarterback. So I'm just saying, I don't think what Chip Kelly, people are so quick to call Chip Kelly a racist. I don't think Chip Kelly is racist. I do think that Chip Kelly might have a slight ego issue, and I think that he's still kind of young in the game, in life. Like I said, there's a reason why no American president has ever been installed as president without having a wife, and or kids, because there's something to be said about people that are leaders that have a well-versed background, and I think that's something that could be exposed in the next couple of years if more players start to come out on certain things like this. And I think these warts are beginning to show in Philadelphia.
And you're right. I don't think he's a racist as well, because he just let go of Evan Mathis, who's a all-pro guard. He just cut him off just
and they didn't replace him.
And they didn't replace him. And they haven't. And the players he is replacing these guys with are guys from Oregon. It's like, hey, they know my system. His ego is so strong that he's like, I'm going to do the stuff that I did in college, and I'm going to use it in the NFL. And it hit the NFL by storm that first season, where they made the wild card game and lost to the Saints. And he did it again last year. And yes, they're going to score points. The NFL wants offenses to thrive. So you're going to thrive because of the way the league is shaped now. But you notice, like, that 49ers game was a perfect example. You go 3 and out, you're punting, and you're going to leave your defense out there all day. Like,
the defense wasn't too,
and it wasn't too shabby. It wasn't too good. So, and he blew a playoff spot last season with this. His ego's so strong that he's not going to adjust. And he's going to try to make the league adjust to him, and that's a problem.
And that's a fascinating thing too, because it's one thing to be a college football program and to say, I'm going to win with the type of players I want. And we've seen Oregon do it. They've been extremely successful. But what have we also seen? When it came into the biggest games, they could never close. They never was able to close against Ohio State. They weren't able to close against Auburn. Anytime they got close, they would get derailed. And that's not necessarily here. I'm not here to take shots at the legacy of Chip Kelly, because I fully believe behind the University of Miami, no team has ever created a culture out of nowhere. Out of absolutely nowhere, more than Oregon has. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. Before 1995, I never thought about the Oregon Ducks football team. I think Achilles Smith was the first guy under Mike Bellotti to make me care about the Oregon Ducks. And then Phil Knight was like, oh, snap. Look at all this extra money we making because Achilles Smith jerseys selling off the rack. And then the Joey Harrington era came in, and all of a sudden they started stunting with jersey, and now we have the Oregon Ducks era, right? But let's be clear, over the last 20 years, you could make the case that they aren't necessarily the most dominant program, but they're one of the five best programs in college football easily.
The renovations they have, the state, what they've
Oh,
done with the
they
stadium, the
print money.
locker
They
rooms,
print money.
and like you said, Eddie, before '95, they made a Rose Bowl and got smoked by Penn State, by Kajana Carter and them boys. But
Ain't no
before
saying
that,
that.
they were terrible.
No.
I mean, I believe the University of Washington beat them like 30 plus,
Like
30 straight times.
They literally never had a program. Like
They
their
were
program,
terrible.
they hadn't won since the 40s. They had not won anything since 40. And so I think Chip Kelly, Bellotti, and a lot of those guys get a lot of credit for that. But again, when you're talking about when there's a talent overflow in college, in the NFL, it's talent scarcity. And whatever talent you can get, you've got to be able to get it and keep it as long as you can, and then you just got to hope you can sort out the issues after that.
In a way, what Chip Kelly reminds me of is Steve Spurrier. When he went to that Washington team in D.C., and he thought, oh, okay, I'm going to bring Shane Matthews out here and play quarterback. Oh, I'm going to back him up with Danny Warfel. I'm going to bring my fun and gun out here and not even touch the defensive side of the ball. And sorry, bro. Sorry, man.
I know, right?
My bad, Joe stood up, man. Like, thank you, bro. Look, hey, but look, I remember Spurrier came in there all fat and cocky, and they ran up the score on the 49ers in the preseason game. Like, we hear it. And that didn't end too well. And if Chip Kelly, if they get off to a slow start and they struggle, Them Philly fans is going to turn on. I just saw my roommate the other day punch the wall when they traded Brandon Boykin. What is Chip doing? Oh, my God. I mean, they're going bananas in Philadelphia. Be careful, Chip. You may be out of a job. And granted, he'll get a job in college quick, bounce back.
I don't think it's that dire for Chip Kelly. I just think that he's treading on some on a sticky situation. And let's be clear, if you just really look at that roster right now, and look, I'm a homer, I love Oklahoma more than anybody, but he basically just sold his soul to give everything he can to let Sam Bradford lead the way. And look, and I fundamentally believe, and this might be homer coming out, but I think Sam Bradford has the talent to be one of the 10 best quarterbacks in football right now. I firmly believe that. But I also feel like that boy's knees is made out of chicken wire, balsa wood, pixie dust, fairies' wishes, baby poop. Like those knees is made out of absolutely nothing.
Yeah, we said baby poop.
Baby poop. They soft, man. There's nothing there. And you have nothing. Please don't say anything about Sam Bradford in Florida. Just don't do it.
I'm not going to mention the online championship.
Okay.
The Gators.
Yeah. Oh wow. He just
beat the crap out of. I'm not going to mention that. But
you must be pulling for a certain guy out there in Philadelphia. I think his last name starts with a T, ends with a W.
I thought you were going with T and then Bo.
With respect to T-Bo, I mean, yes, he's a Gator. Gotta love him. But he's not a good quarterback.
T-Bo.
I'm a realist. I respect T-Bo. But he's not a good quarterback.
That's so embarrassing.
He's not a good quarterback. So we'll see what Chip has in store for T-Bo. But we'll see. I honestly have no idea what he's going to do because he's not going to throw.
Look. Here's the good thing. Look, I know I wear Seahawks hats. I also have 49ers hats, by the way. I have Raiders hats. I have 7 different football teams that I wear that are hats. I don't really care. The good thing is, I'm here for the entertainment, and I say that all the time. I am here for the entertainment, and here's what I know: the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be entertaining. The San Francisco 49ers are also going to be entertaining.
That's the opposite.
I cannot guarantee the performance of those two teams, but I'm here for the entertainment. I'm here for the laughs. I'm here for the chuckles. I'm here for the blowouts, and I'm here for the beat 'em downs. I'm not saying who's going to receive what. All I know is that those teams are very interesting right now. And it's fun to see because these are real life issues, and we all know people that you work with right now. I know Bonta and Joe can think of people right now that they work with, and they have issues just having regular conversations with you, just because they are not comfortable with who you are, and it's not even necessarily a bad thing, but we forget how sheltered some people are. We forget how much people are just blatantly ignorant to things. And again, that's not bad. Like, the beauty about being a human being is that you get to learn about other people. And I say all that to say that I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens if Chip Kelly can evolve from where he is now. And if he can take some of these lumps and he can reevaluate how he presents himself to his players, to his organization, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Tom Sula, with Kaepernick, because sometimes you just want your coach to put your arm around you and tell you it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't always mean that's the best thing that should happen, because sometimes you need the coach to put the foot up your ass. But sometimes you need a hug too.
We all need hugs sometimes.
Hey man, can we hug it out after this?
We definitely can. I always need hugs.
Okay.
Man.
Not on there.
Bonta, you got anything else you want to talk about? Or you think we good?
You know what, man? I think we might be. Do we want to talk about Meek Mill and Drake? No, we don't need to do that. People talk about that enough. We don't need to talk Tom Brady.
Hold on, let me make sure I put it in the camera so they can see it. Light Skin Coalition.
Hey, we out here, baby.
No.
We are out here.
Being a member of the
2015.
The Dark Skin Consortium. No, that's not. We don't claim Meek Mill. I had a meeting.
You don't claim Meek Mill
with Idris Elba.
Oh wow. Okay.
With Idris Elba.
Okay.
With Morris Chestnut.
Okay. All right. Okay, we're going Morris Chestnut.
The leaders of the Dark
The
Skin
leaders.
Coalition.
The leaders.
Hold on, so let's be clear.
Two of the top.
You went to a British gent and a second leaders. Okay, I want to be clear. Both actors, by the way. They're not even real in what they actually do in real life.
Also,
Mike Tomlin. Okay.
He's
all right. I'll
He
give
does
you
still have a
Tomlin.
Chris Weinen.
Okay, fair. Are you gonna go? You gonna pull LeBron? I mean,
LeBron.
Whoa.
There is
yes, he is. He's dark skinned.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of LeBron,
Wow.
so I can't really. I mean, I guess.
I mean, you are from
I guess-
Miami, I understand.
But I guess, yeah, we'll go ahead and claim LeBron. We'll go ahead and
Okay.
claim
I mean,
LeBron.
he gotta be in the
There's a
consortium,
meme
bro.
going around right now where it says light skin right now is 3-0.
Yeah.
It's Steph Curry.
But Russell
Drake,
Wilson
and
is
Russell
not
Wilson.
light skinned.
Bro, have you seen his hair, bro?
He's
You know how much Hawaiian
Come on,
stuff he puts in
man.
his hair, bro? That's an automatic
Russell Wilson
qualification.
is not light skinned.
Come on, man.
But we don't claim Meek Mill.
We don't claim Meek Mill.
That's
the
cold.
Dark Skin Coalition follows NCAA rules.
Wow.
in which
We
have
claim Chris
we
Broussard,
have deemed
bro.
him ineligible as being
Wow.
dark skinned prior to this beef he has with Drake.
Y'all got who's
So
holding y'all down right now in the rap game?
dark skins holding him down. Kendrick, K. Dot.
Okay. I want to see him Saturday.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
Alright.
Who else? Man,
We
It's
got,
a
we,
rap is
struggle,
not-
got, we,
bro.
got, we,
rap is
got, we,
not-
got, we got J. Cole, bro.
We got J.
I
Cole.
like Cole too. He
See?
light skin. He light skin.
You
We
better
have to trade. We have to trade.
Oh,
with J.
trade?
Cole. Yeah. We have to trade with J. Cole.
We'll give y'all riff raff.
Crit.
Crit. I mean, Crit.
Crit,
Crit.
okay.
Yes.
If you come out there with Freddie Gibbs, I'm not trying to fight you. Bro. Y'all can win. You can win with Freddie Gibbs right now. You know, and Jeezy. I mean, they don't like each other, but I'm just saying. Here's what I'm gonna say, man. Look about the whole Meek Mill thing. Meek, I'm looking at you right now. I know there's millions and millions of people listening and watching this podcast right now. I'm just gonna tell you this straight up. Take your time. Come up with something that's fire, and they'll forget about all this. The other thing is, if you really want to come at Drake, all you should have done is leave doubt about what Drake really is. See, the thing is, you could try to go at him and say that he's got a ghostwriter. Guess what? Hip hop, ghostwriting is just a part of the culture.
Yeah.
Ask Wu-Tang.
As Dr. Dre.
Ask Wu-Tang. Ask Ghostface, who wrote all of his bars on 36 Chambers. From what I understand, he'll tell you straight up, Raekwon wrote the whole project for everybody. And that was a normal thing. That's not a shot. You can go look at when Kanye and Jay-Z produced Lucifer. If you could pull that up on YouTube right now, Kanye gave him the bars as the blueprint, and Jay went in the studio right there, used it as the blueprint, and went right after that. You gonna come at Jay? You're not
Dr.
coming-
Dre,
you're not
coming
coming at Jay.
2001.
Yeah, you're not coming. Nobody's coming at Dre. By the way, go buy the Dre album, the Compton soundtrack on Friday. Please go buy it. Yes.
Support
Just-
Dre.
I'm just
Trade
telling
my
you.
beats, I do rock
Go
his
buy the
headphones.
album. The whole point is, okay, you want to come at Drake and ghostwriting? You could do that. You want to come at Drake for being a pop star? You could do that too. Look, man, there ain't nothing wrong with flourishing on your girl's tour, bro. Like, actually, you in a position to win. You just didn't have a strategy. You were thinking tactically, not strategically. And that man was already prepared to take you down. And that's an ability that MCs always have. Because MCs always got battle raps in the chamber. And you didn't have anything. So take your time. Put out some fire. Leave doubt as to what Drake's career really is. And you could come back from this. You
And
could.
I'm also not sure if y'all saw Meek Mill's sister.
Oh boy.
She that was a diss track. You go Google it.
So hold on. Meek Mill's sister.
His sister came at
Drake.
harder than Meek Mill did.
Oh my God.
It's embarrassing.
Oh man.
Yeah, this is a weird thing, bruh.
Oh.
Like, it's not good when other people gotta fight your battles, man.
That's-
Like, y'all remember the episode on Fresh Prince when Will got in that fight, and then Nia Long came and had to fight the fight for him,
Yeah,
and he was
right.
effed up. His
Yeah.
ego couldn't handle it,
Yeah.
right? Like, there's nothing necessarily even wrong with your girl fighting for you. I know in this point we're talking about her sister, but like, is that what you waiting on? Are you waiting for Nikki to write bars on your behalf? Like, I hope you're not waiting on that. Like, you might get, you might get clowned forever
Just
after
Meek
that.
Mill, just chill for now.
Yeah,
Enjoy the tour. Enjoy your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Come
Don't
back
lose
in a
her.
couple months. Don't
Don't pull a
that's the thing.
Future and
'Cause
lose your
if you
woman.
lose her, then you're really done.
Then you're done.
So you better have a hit 'em up, that's some fire, ready to go.
Yeah.
Because you're losing Nikki, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that right now. Nikki
Yeah.
ain't standing for that.
Yeah. So we'll end it on that note. We're not playing any Meek Mill though.
No.
We'll go out.
That album was good though. That's what it
That's what's
sucks.
crazy.
You know, I'll say this. I was at the gym yesterday. Yes, folks, I was at the gym. I actually went into a cycling class.
Spinning.
spinning.
Yes.
I almost died about 7 times. I almost walked out the door about 3 other times.
Fair.
But I stayed in there like a true champ in my Florida State t-shirt. Sweated through it. And the Meek Mill song came on when I started hitting the dumbbells. And I actually stopped and looked at the phone, and I felt some type of way when I listened to it. I don't know why, but I just looked at it and was like, should I use that skip on the Pandora or should I not? And I just, you know what? I said, you know what? I'm just going to let it ride. I'm going to let it ride, and I let it ride and went on with my day. And it came on Drake Radio, believe it or not.
Oh, man.
So, which was funny.
And that's the crazy thing is, like, they've been cool for a while.
Yeah.
And let's be clear, this whole thing started because Meek Mill didn't get a cosign from Drake on Twitter about his album.
Come on, man.
Welcome to 2015, bruh.
He's just a feature artist. It's not like he's on his label. Like, come on, Meek.
Come on, Meek. Don't be Meek in 2015.
Don't be Meek in 2015.
Slim Joe Magic, a.k.a. Joe Akoni, thank you for dropping by the
Yes.
studio, my brother.
Thank you for
You
inviting
made this a great experience. Minus all your Florida
Gators.
shenanigans, we'll tolerate
That's
you.
what-
We're
that's
moving
what
on.
he
I know.
was.
I've
Oh.
been peeping that.
I forget. I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the greatest piece of cheesecake I have ever had in my entire life. Now, look, I am not
Cheesecake.
going to
Cheesecake Joe.
Cheesecake Joe.
Cheesecake Joe.
The nickname I have given Joe is Cheesecake Joe. The reason why I have given him this nickname is because we had a large group of young men and young women take their talents to Lake Tahoe in a palatial cabin
That was a
estate.
Big ass.
It was a big ass crib. I tried to get Bonta to go, but he was working
He
on his
lying.
degree of Mr. Internationalism,
He lying.
so he could steal girls
I never got
in
no
the
invite.
EU.
Don't do that. Don't lie to the people.
And you know, everybody brought something food-wise, because you know you got to feed yourself there. Like, you know, the cupboard ain't stocked. You got to feed yourself. So, you know, I brought meat. You know, I brought alcohol. And I brought cigars. What more does a grown man need? That's what I brought. Other people brought vegetables, chips, things like this, whatever. I did notice that Joe had a little satchel bag in the corner with some like hidden ingredients. And then on a Friday night, we had the fireplace going. People were drinking. Everybody's had a good time. And Joe Akoni came out and said, I'm about to make this cheesecake. Now, mind you, there was at least 12 to 17 very good-looking, smart, talented women there. And all the women's was like, you about to make cheesecake? And then Joe Akoni did one of the most gangstest things I ever seen in my entire life. He took out the whole thing of the graham crackers. And he put these graham crackers in a bowl. And then he started mashing the graham crackers with his bare hands. And the women lost their minds. Like, I saw perspiration, beads of sweat on these women's forehead. And Joe Akoni, he's over there. And he had on his little, like, you know, tank top. You know, he out here trying to flex a little bit. And our boy, Corporate Rich.
Really trying to be Tay Diggs out
Listen,
here.
Corporate Rich was sitting there watching the whole time, drinking the angriest beer I've ever seen in my entire life. He looked so diabolically evil. He looked like when Jody saw Bing Rain dancing on his mama. Bro. He was so angry. And Joe Akoni is in there, flicking a wrist. He in there getting it.
I couldn't
Graham
find the
crackers
blender. I couldn't
going.
find the blender. That's
He
the
could
only
not
reason.
find the blender, so you know he's flexing on them. He got the flex on them, right?
Cheesecake Joe.
And then he put it in the frigidator, and then because you know we was up, you know it was like midnight, 1 in the morning, and you know I was kind of gone off that Tennessee honey, you know. But Joe Akoni was like, "Yo, that cheesecake ready though," and like I got into the kitchen, I saw all the ethnically ambiguous tech women's in the kitchen, and they was like, Joe, oh my God, Joe, this is the greatest cheesecake I ever had in my life. Like, I looked at the cheesecake. It had like swirls in it, and it had this perfectly golden crusted graham cracker crust cheesecake. And the cheesecake itself had this little wavy pattern in it, bruh. And Joe Akoni just sitting over there like, oh, you know, it's just a little something, you know. You know, on some old playerific. He over there, you know, glossing his fingernails, you know. It's like he knows he's stunning on everybody. And like, the next 24, 48 hours, everybody was just like, oh my God, that's the greatest cheesecake ever. Richard, on the other hand, is over there trying to grill, and he's complaining about grilling, and he's like, man, I'm on the grill, though. You know, I'm trying to get this meat so we can eat. You know, you got to get this protein.
He made some good chicken.
Yeah, you know.
Shout out to Rich with the chicken.
Look, Rich, you can grill, bruh,
He's a
but
grilling
that look of
master.
saltiness on your face that night is unprecedented.
Oh,
You were
man.
like everybody got high blood pressure because you was that salty, and that is how
Man.
Cheesecake
I love
Joe
I
got
love
the
it.
name.
I love it.
Do you want to rebut anything that I have said?
Yes.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna take a stand.
Okay, take the stand.
The swirls was Nutella, so just get that.
Get it
Oh,
right.
man, I'm about to. Oh my God. Oh. Woo. Cheesecake
Nutella.
Joe.
Cheesecake
It was
Joe.
pretty good. It was pretty good. But nah, I mean, he exaggerated a little bit. You know, when no panties getting thrown. You know,
I didn't even say that.
I mean, he made it seem like.
Oh, man. I think we need to wrap it up.
On that
We
note.
need to wrap it
On
up.
that note.
Hey, Corporate Rich is coming at us.
Coming at us.
Believe that.
Coming
He's
at us.
coming. Believe us.
Joe Akoni for Bonta Hill. This is Eddie Maisonet. Thank you for subscribing and listening to the Versus Podcast. Be sure to check us on iTunes and Stitcher Radio, Audio Boom, KNBR.com, and the Sports Fan Journal. We'll see you next week. 100. And that's a
Oh,
wrap.
man.
That was fun.
Joe Akoni, Cheesecake Joe.
Appreciate you.
Oh, man.
Yes, sir.
That was good shit, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Periscope, man. We done.
Yeah, we done. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? Like Joe did. Wrap it
I
up.
want to come back, man. Let me know if
Yeah, look at it. Everybody wants to come back. But Corporate Rich and Terrence is coming at us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we don't care.